Okay, 6.2 is an activity called drink mix, and we're putting that onto something called a double number line. And this is our first introduction to a double number line today. The other day, we made drink mixtures by mixing 4 teaspoons of powdered drink mix for every 1 cup of water. So in the past, we took that ratio, 4 teaspoons of drink mix for every cup of water, and we represented it as this diagram where the white boxes represented the 4 teaspoons of drink mix and the blue box represented the cup of water. And we showed that if we doubled those, so if we doubled the white, we doubled the blue, that we could show a second batch. And then by having that second batch, we would see that 8 to 2 is equivalent to 4 to 1. And we called those equivalent ratios because that second batch would taste the same as the first batch. Today, what we're going to be looking at is that same relationship can be expressed not only as a diagram, but also as something called a double number line. So with a double number line, we literally start with drawing 2 number lines. And we take our 2 categories, in this case, drink mix and water, and we put those on the left-hand side of the number lines and make sure to include their units. So in this case, teaspoons and cups. And then what you're going to see is that for the drink mix line, we have our equally spaced numbers, and they're counting by 4. And the reason those are counting by 4 is because for one batch, we're supposed to put in 4 teaspoons of drink mix. So this line right here would be like in one batch, put in 4, and in 2 batches, put in 8, and in 3 batches, put in 12, and in 4 batches, put in 16, and so forth. This bottom number line is counting up by 1, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the reason it's doing that is because it says that for every 4 teaspoons in a batch, you should put in just 1 cup of water. So in one batch, put in 1, in 2 batches, put in 2, in 3 batches, put in 3, in 4 batches, put in 4. And this is another way of just showing this relationship that the ratio between the powdered drink mix to the cups of water should be 4 to 1. Now, instead of having our equivalent ratios represented by each batch in the diagram, we now have them represented in this vertical pair on our double number line. So if you are working in your journal, you're going to see this diagram on the bottom of page 45. If you're just working on the Nearpod, that's okay as well. You are going to be completing numbers 1 through 5 about this double number line, and you're going to be doing so with some interactive questions on the Nearpod. So the first thing it's going to ask you is to locate this pair 4 to 1, and then also locate this pair 12 to 3. They are examples of equivalent ratios. So we know that in the past because 4 times 3 is 12 and 1 times 3 is 3. And so this is 1 batch and this is 3 batches. What I'm going to ask you to do today is really think about their placement on the double number line. How does their placement show you that 4 to 1 is equivalent to 12 to 3? Then the next set of questions that you're going to answer is how are these similar and how are these different? So what we're talking about is how does the diagram in the double number line, how are they the same? How are they portraying the same information? And then the second question might seem really similar to you or obvious to you, but how are they different? So how is this diagram different than this double number line? All right, the next set of questions that you have for 3 and 4 says how many teaspoons of drink mix should be used with 3 cups of water. So now you're going to be trying to find this information on the double number line. If you go to 3 cups of water and you look straight up, how many of the teaspoons of drink mix should you put in? And then you're going to go in the other direction. If we put in 16 teaspoons of drink mix, how many cups of water should that be? And then the very last thing I'm going to ask you to do with this is there are some missing boxes over here. If this number line continues to count by 4, what should go in this box? And if this number line continues to count by 1 for each batch, what should go in this missing box? And you're going to add that in with the Draw It tool. Okay, so you're going to be doing that on the next set of slides using this relationship that for every 4 teaspoons of drink mix, there is 1 cup of water.